Hi, welcome to 15 Minutes of Consulting Best Practices. I'm David A. Fields. You'll see I have a guest next to me who I'll introduce in a moment. You know the drill here. This is straight up Q&A. You'll ask us questions and we will answer your questions. And hello, Michael. Thank you for saying hello already. My special guest is Will Bachman. And Will's the co-founder and managing partner of Umbrex. I think of Umbrex as a staffing firm. I think of Umbrex as the best staffing firm, which means Umbrex helps find clients helps clients find independent consultants for their projects. And my understanding is, Will, is you've staffed over 1,000 projects and helped consultants earn over $100 million on projects through Umbrex. So that's pretty impressive. And welcome. Thank you for being willing to join me today.
David, it's a pleasure. And I'd say I would add to your definition of Umbrex. For clients, yes, we are a staffing firm. We help clients find the right consultant for their project. Differentiated from other staffing firms, though, we're also a community. So we're very focused on helping connect our members who are independent consultants with one another. We run 100 events per year, and we run mastermind groups. And we're very focused on helping our members thrive in their practice.
That is outstanding. That is excellent. As a reminder, and for any of you who are new, put your questions, just type them into the comments or into LinkedIn, and then we will see them. It takes a minute sometimes for them to appear. But ask all your questions. This is a rare opportunity to ask any questions you have about firms like Umbrex, and we'll answer them. I know there were some questions submitted in advance, though. So, Jaron, what do we have in your bag of questions? I'll read the first one for Will. All right, Will. Tom asked, should we be aware of reluctance of U.S. companies to hire cross-border consultants for remote jobs? Interesting. And are there any barriers to U.S. companies doing this? So I don't know whether Tom is non-U.S. And Tom, if you're listening, you can clarify. What do you think, Will?
So I'll say a couple things about that. So first, there are some projects, definitely the minority, where it's a U.S. company and you must be a U.S. citizen to be on it. Like sometimes maybe a defense contractor says, hey, it's just our rules. It has to be a U.S. citizen. Okay. In other types of projects, you must be physically based in the US, even if you're going to work remotely, sometimes for data purposes. So like healthcare companies in some cases might have that requirement where, hey, the contractor has to be based working in the US. They don't have to be a US citizen. They just have to be in the US physically. In other cases, Tom mentioned remote projects. Now, before COVID, the majority of our projects were at least sometime on site, right? Some traveling. During COVID, the majority of our projects were fully remote. Now, right. I'd say the majority of our projects are hybrid, where they don't want the consultant coming every week, but they do want most of our projects. It'll be, we want like a kickoff week, and then maybe 1 or 2 meetings over the course of this 2 or 3 month project, right? Some days, maybe 2 meetings a month, something like that. Not for the full week, just come and do something in person. So for those, if you're in Europe or you're in Asia or the Middle East, it's just a little bit more expensive to bring someone over. So it's not necessarily a barrier. I'd say the most likely times when we staff someone who is outside the US on a US-based project is when they have a very specific skill that is very rare, right? Like, I do, procurement for airports, and I've served 7 airports around the world on this very specific procurement thing. That'd be kind of rare. But if it's just like a generic project where we need an associate who has generalist consulting skills, and we tell the client, we have this person in Poland or Dubai, they're going to like, what? You don't have anybody in the United States who just meets these basic requirements? So I'd say the more specific your skills, the more likely that we might be able to staff you remote on something in the US. And it works the same way in reverse. For projects in Europe, consultants in the US raise their hand, but if it's in Europe, in Germany, the client probably wants someone who's in Germany.
Yeah, that's really interesting. To me, it's actually interesting hearing how projects have gone back to this hybrid setup. Yeah. We still see mostly remote, but that said, I'm heading over to London in a couple of months, for a client meeting. Which, by the way, if you're listening and you're in Europe and you want to visit with us or with me, it's a rare case. All right, let's keep going. There were a couple of questions I saw come in. Is experience working with one of the big consulting agencies a prerequisite for being part of Umbrex? Well,
no, it's not. So those of you who are interested in being part of our community, you're welcome to send me a connection request. We do require to be part of our community that you are not employed at a company, that you are an independent consultant or running your own practice. But we do have some members that, let's say you went to Harvard Business School and you have an MBA and you have executive experience and now you're an independent consultant. On a case-by-case basis, we will admit members like that. The majority of our members do have experience at a large global firm, but we have some members that don't have that experience.
And if people send you boxes of chocolate, will that help them get into Umbrex?
I can neither confirm nor deny, David. I know.
Okay, just checking in, asking for a friend.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Eric asked, how are you seeing just ask the AI effect, the willingness of clients to hire consultants and advisors to do the legwork, even if consultants is AI literate and marketing themselves as so? It's interesting. We talk a lot about this now. What are you saying?
I'd say, it raises the bar for all of us. So if you're only giving an answer that's as good as ChatGPT would generate, then you're probably going to get replaced, right? So I think consultants, even right now, but even more so a year or two from now, there's going to be two types of consultants that are actively leveraging all these AI tools to deliver greater value to their clients, and consultants that are out of work, right? I mean, those are the only two options.
Yep. Agree 100%. We literally just had a conversation with one of our clients about this, and most of our clients, right? And we're talking about not what do you do now with AI's capabilities now, but what are you going to do when AI has its capabilities in 2 years, which are going to be just because of the rate AI is changing, especially LLMs. You have to be prepared for that. Yeah. It's clearly having an impact. Colby, I see your question. I'm going to put a pin in your question if it's okay, just because we have this time with Will, which is unusual, but we'll get to your question either at the end or next week or the week after. If it's urgent, let me know, or you can contact me outside. A LinkedIn user, I can't see what your name is. You're just coming as LinkedIn user. It says, what parts of candidate sourcing matching have you successfully transitioned online? What's been most challenging? Any big lessons?
Well, I mean, we do it all online already. So, I mean, we were founded over 10 years ago, but we mostly will source, certainly through personal connections, but also LinkedIn's a big place that we do a lot of our sourcing. So I would say it's not so much like we've transitioned online, but we're, kind of online native at Umbrex. So maybe the LinkedIn user, the anonymous LinkedIn user, could give a little bit more detail about specifically what part of that they were curious about.
Okay. Yeah. So, and if any of you have follow-up questions to what we're saying, or you have a different point of view, this is also community. Feel free to chime in your different point of view. Sometimes the questions get answered by everybody else without me answering or a Will or whoever's in the other chair. And Brian, thank you for your kind comments about Umbrex being a great resource, which is excellent. Any other questions for Will? Type them, but while they're doing that, let me hit your question, Colby. Actually, Jaron, is there anything else in the bag that maybe if there's another question that's specific to Will, let's put it up on the screen.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
This came in also. Any tips on how to win business on other platforms like Catalant and BTG? Well, I can answer that, but Will, why don't we ask you first? Are there any tips for how to win business on Umbrex?
Okay, yes, there are. In fact, we published a whole resource on this, and if you Google Umbrex win more projects with staffing firms, you'll probably come to that resource. So first of all, I would say pick one or two staffing firms that you're going to try to dedicate your efforts to. You don't want to spread the jam too thin. So pick the firms that best match what you offer in your practice. because there is some sort of benefits to scale. If you do 10 projects with one firm, they're really going to get to know you and trust you and sort of reach out to you. Whereas if you do one project with 10 separate firms, you're not going to be as well known. So that's one thing. Understand your value proposition and don't talk to firms and say, well, I do pharma and I do energy and I do financial services and consumer packaged goods. David always talks about having a fishing line. Definitely communicate that to the staffing firm and let them know, what you're best at, what's an ideal project for you. When the staffing firm reaches out to you, respond quickly, right? Even if it's a no, right? Be someone who responds quickly. You're more likely to get asked in the future. And if you do know someone who could be a good fit for it and it's a no for you, then make an intro, help the staffing firm out by introducing someone that you know. Use good bullet points when you that crisply communicate your experience. So we have a resource on that. You can Google Umbrex bullet points. That ought to come up. We put a lot of work. We've reviewed thousands of bullet points that we had received to come up with some guidance on how long they should be, which is 30 to 70 words, specific, communicating what you do. And then when you be a good citizen with the firm, so after you meet with the client the first time, if you get a meeting, communicate to the firm, hey, here's what happened. When you're on a project, see if you can help generate follow-on work for the staffing firm. So so check out that resource for more details. And David, you probably have some tips as well.
Yeah, I do. So we did this. We were hired by another firm to sort this out, to figure this out, another staffing firm. It's very much what you said. I'm going to keep it to two quick things because then I want to do a rapid fire, see if we can get through a bunch of questions in like a minute.
All right.
But what we learned, responsiveness, be the first one in, be very quick back and build a relationship. Treat Will like you would treat a client. Build a relationship with Will or his team. And you can't do that with 10. So exactly what you said. All right. Well, we're going to try to get through a few. And hi, Vugar. Okay. Jasmine said, how about niche consulting skills such as accreditation in or for the TIC industry? Can we be a member? Oh, I think this is about perhaps being a member of Umbrex. How about niche consulting skills? Are we eligible to become members?
Yeah. So if people are curious, if they're eligible, they can just reach out and apply, and we'll look at your profile and let you know.
Great. What is the business model for working for companies like Umbrex?
So it's a pretty simple business model with Umbrex. Clients ask us to find candidates. We identify. We don't just throw like 20 or 30 bios at a client. We identify people who we think are the best fit, who are interested and available, present them to our client. Client interviews them. If they engage one of them, the client contracts with Umbrex, and Umbrex contracts with the independent consultant. So they get contracted and invoiced through Umbrex.
Awesome. Do you ever have clients look for multiple consultants for a single project?
Sure. I mean, our sort of market positioning is we help you find the right independent consultant for a project. But some projects need 2 or even 3 people. And in those cases, we staff 2 or 3 people.
Awesome. Martha said sometimes she sees the same position posted on multiple staffing firm sites. Do companies do that, or are they just very similar posts?
Well, it could be a little bit of both. In some cases, there might be, some projects are fairly generic, like, hey, we need a consultant to help us set up reporting for the board. I can imagine that more than one company has that right now. If it sounds kind of generic, it just very well could be different clients. Something sounds super specific, then, it's, like airport procurement project for an airport in the Northeastern United States, category, then it's probably the same project that client is reaching out to several staffing firms. Most staffing firms don't, demand exclusivity from our clients. So the clients, in some cases, will work just with one. They'll usually use their own personal network, and in some cases, they might farm it out to more than one.
Excellent. And with that, Katrin, we're going to get to your question next week or the week after. So thank you for asking that. Tyler gets the Deep Tracks Award for knowing that I was the first guest on your Unleashed podcast.
Yes.
So that's quite a tidbit of trivia there, Tyler.
Those of you who like hearing from David, he's been on my show Unleashed about 10 times. So if you want more of David. Check it out.
And we've hit our 15 minutes. So thank you for spending 15 minutes with Will and me. Make sure you don't miss us on Mondays. So add davidafields.com Monday Live to your calendar. And that will, on Mondays, just remind you, and you'll come right back here. If you don't receive my articles every week, you should. So subscribe, and Jaron put up the link there. So davidafields.com/subscribe. Also, on the off chance you're not connected with me on LinkedIn, please connect with me. LinkedIn, David A. Fields. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, Will, for joining. I hope you had fun.
This was awesome, David. And I highly recommend signing up for David's newsletter if you haven't got it already. And if folks do send me a connection request, just make sure you add a note that you heard about me on David Fields' event today.
Perfect. Excellent. Thanks, Will. For all of you, have a fabulous week. As always, remember, consulting's not about you, it's about them. It's about your clients and prospects. So give them value and give them kindness, and you'll see some faces up here 1 week from today answering your questions. Take care, all.
All right. Cheers.